the arrival of the invaders, the planet Targon was known by many names. To the galaxy's powerful races, it was called a death world, a place where few dared to live. The air was thick and heavy, storms could break without warning, and the ground itself seemed alive with danger. But the people who lived there, the Targons, were tough. They had learned to survive when others had given up. One clear morning, strange ships appeared in Targon's dark sky. They were large, sleek, and glowing with cold blue light. The aliens called themselves the Zirith. They were confident and proud, thinking they would take over this wild planet easily. They had conquered many others before. Commander Relik, the leader of the Zirith fleet, stood on the bridge of the biggest ship, watching the planet below. "This will be a quick victory," he said with a sharp smile. "The Targons are weak and unorganized. They won't fight back. But the Targons, we're ready." Hidden deep in their caves and forests, their scouts watched the strange ships. Their leader, Jara, a strong woman with eyes like burning embers, stood beside her second-in-command. "They think we are weak," she said quietly. "Let them learn their mistake." The Zirith ships began to land in several places. Their machines moved out fast, setting up bases and scanning for signs of resistance. At first, the Targons stayed hidden, watching carefully. Suddenly, the sky above one of the Zirith bases lit up with a strange signal. It was a pulsing light, flashing in patterns the aliens had never seen before. Commander Relik frowned. "What is that?" he asked. "Is it a warning or a trap?" No one had answers. The signal kept flashing, fast and steady. The Zirith began to feel uneasy. The Targons never showed themselves, but the strange signal told a different story. It said the Targons were watching and ready. Days passed, but the signal continued. The Zirith sent out drones to find the source. The drones flew low over dark forests and deep caves. Suddenly, one drone was destroyed by a burst of energy. The aliens gasped. "They have weapons," said Relik, "stronger than we thought." Commander Relik called his officers. "Prepare for battle. The Targons will not go down quietly." The Targons were not many, but they knew their land well. They used the storms, the thick forests, and the rocky ground to hide and move silently. Jara sent small groups to attack the Zirith's weak points. The aliens were shocked. The Targons were fast, smart, and dangerous. One night, as a storm raged, the Targons struck the largest Zirith base. They used strange tools that glowed with power and moved with silent speed. The Zirith soldiers were caught off guard. The attack was fierce, but quick. Then, just as fast, the Targons disappeared into the storm. Commander Relik watched the battle from his ship. He was confused and angry. How can a simple Deathworld race fight like this? They must have help. He ordered his scientists to study the strange tools the Targons used. Reports came back. The tools were not from Targon. They were made from human technology. Advanced, powerful, and rare. Relik's anger grew. Humans? Why would they help these natives? Meanwhile, deep inside Targon's forests, Jara looked at the stars. She whispered, "We will protect our home, no matter the cost." The Zirith ships prepared for a new attack, but the Targons. Strange signal kept flashing in the sky, a warning that the fight had just begun. The aliens did not expect the Deathworlders to respond like this. What was this strange power the Targons had? Who was really behind their strength? And how far would they go to defend their home? The galaxy was about to learn that Deathworlders were not just survivors, they were warriors. Asterisk, the first strike, the Zirith, were used to winning wars. They believed their technology and numbers made them unstoppable. But Targon was different. Every day, the aliens grew more nervous. "Commander." Relik paced in his command room. His face was hard, but inside, doubt began to creep. "We cannot wait any longer," he said. "We must crush the Targans before they get stronger." The aliens planned a massive strike. Thousands of soldiers loaded into ships, ready to attack the Targans' main base, hidden deep in the mountains. They thought this would end the fight, but the Targans were ready. Jara stood at the edge of the mountain base. Her eyes were sharp and steady. She had trained her people to expect the worst. "This battle will decide our future," she said. "We fight for our land, our families, and our lives." As the Zereth ships descended, the sky darkened with thunder. The Targans waited in silence, hidden among rocks and thick trees. When the aliens landed, the ground shook with their heavy boots. The Zereth pushed forward, confident and loud. But suddenly, the quiet was broken. A sudden roar came from the forest. The Targans charged from hidden paths, their weapons flashing blue and green in the stormlight. Their attack was fast and fierce. The Zereth were shocked. They had never faced an enemy so fierce and organized. The Targans used the storm, the rocks, and the trees like weapons. They vanished before the aliens could fight back. "Fall back! Fall back!" Commander Rillick shouted. But the Zereth were already confused and scared. One of the alien scouts sent a report back. "Commander, the Targans have new weapons. These are not from their world. They are advanced, powerful ... like human tech." Rillick slammed his fist on the table. "Humans again. What game is this?" Inside the storm, the Targans used strange devices. They called them storm blades. The blades could cut through metal and made loud thunder sounds when swung. Aliens who faced them quickly fled, but the Zereth had a secret too. They brought giant machines called crushers. These machines were slow but deadly. They crushed everything in their path. The battle was brutal. The crushers smashed Targans' defenses, but the Targans fought back harder. They knew every rock, every shadow. They set traps-deep pits filled with sharp spikes and nets that pulled the crushers down. One crusher fell, stuck in a pit. Targans attacked it quickly, using storm blades to cut it apart. The aliens' confidence broke like glass. Their soldiers started to fall one by one. Suddenly, a new sound filled the air, a strange humming from above. The Zereth looked up to see human ships appearing from the clouds. The humans were here. Jara smiled for the first time. "Our allies have arrived." The humans did not speak much. Their ships moved silently and quickly. They fired beams of light that tore through the alien machines. The Zereth scrambled. They had not expected humans to join the fight so openly. Their commanders shouted orders, but chaos was growing. "Retreat!" Rillick ordered. But his soldiers were surrounded and tired. The Targans and humans pushed the aliens back, forcing them to run. That night, as the storm raged, Rillick sat alone in his ship. He looked out at the broken battlefield and whispered, "This war will not end soon." But in his heart, he feared the Deathworlders' power, and the humans who helped them dot far below. Jara watched the stars. "We fought well today," she said softly, "but the real war is just beginning." The hidden defenses after their defeat, the Zereth retreated to their ships. Commander Rillick's face was tight with anger and worry. "They fight like wild beasts," he said. "But there is something more. We have not seen it all." The Targans had disappeared back into their forests and mountains. The aliens could not find them. It was as if the land itself was hiding them. Jara and her people knew the planet well. Targan was not just a wild place. It was a living weapon deep inside the mountains. Hidden under layers of rock was the real power of the Deathworlders. Secret bases and old machines left by humans. Long ago, one of these bases controlled the fierce storms that swept the land. Another could release poisonous gases from deep underground. The Targans used these hidden defenses to protect their home. We will show them the true strength of Targon, Jara said. She sent scouts to find weak points in the Zereth forces. The aliens tried to send their drones and sensors, but the planet's energy scrambled their signals. The Zereth could not see what was coming. Suddenly, the earth shook. A loud boom echoed. Through the valley dot, the Targons had activated a hidden cannon. It fired a powerful energy blast that destroyed one of the alien supply bases. Relax officers were shocked. How can they reach us from so far away? They asked. Jara smiled. The planet is our shield. The storms, the rocks, even the air fight with us. The Zereth tried to push forward, but every step was dangerous. The Targons had set traps in the forest's hidden pits, falling rocks, and walls that moved silently to block the aliens. One group of Zereth soldiers fell into a deep pit. They called for help, but their radios were jammed out. As night fell, strange creatures appeared. These were animals bred by the Targons, big, strong, and silent hunters. They attacked the aliens in the dark, striking fear into their hearts. Relek realized the fight was more than a battle. It was a war with the planet itself. He called for a meeting. We must find their secret base, he said. Destroy it, and we win. But the Targons' secret base was hidden well. Even the aliens' best spies could not find it. Jara knew this. She guarded the base with her life. Inside, a strange glowing machine hung quietly. It was a human device, left behind in an old war. It controlled the storms, the winds, and even the movements of the earth. The Targons had learned to use it. We are not just survivors, Jara said. We are part of this planet's power. The Zereth sent a small team to find the base. They moved quietly through the dark woods, but they did not know the traps that waited for them. One by one, the alien team disappeared. The Targons struck quickly, using shadows and silence. The Zereth soldiers were lost in the forest maze. Back at their ship, Relek watched the reports. This is no ordinary enemy, he said. They use the land, the weather, and old human machines. His voice was low. We must be careful or we lose everything. The battle was far from over. The hidden defenses of Targon were awakening and on. The aliens had only just begun to feel their power. Into the Deathworld. Zereth knew their next move had to be precise. Their last attacks failed, and their losses were growing. Commander Relek decided to send a small team deep into Targon's dangerous lands. Their mission: find and destroy the hidden human base controlling the planet's defenses. The team was led by Captain Veriz, a skilled but cautious officer. This place is a death trap, he warned his soldiers. We must move carefully. As the team entered the thick forest, the air grew heavy with strange smells. The sky was dark, even though it was midday. Twisted trees blocked the light, and every sound seemed louder in the silence. The soldiers moved slowly, scanning for traps and enemies. They knew the Targons watched from the shadows. Suddenly, the ground shook beneath them. A hidden pit opened wide, but Veriz was quick. He grabbed his second-in-command, pulling him back just in time. Watch every step, Veriz said. They want us to fall. The team pressed forward. Strange shapes moved just beyond the tree's large creatures with glowing eyes. The soldiers aimed their weapons, but the creatures vanished into the darkness. Hours passed. The team found old ruins, covered with moss and vines. These ruins were the signs of the human presence long ago. Then, deep inside the ruins, they found a door large, metal, and glowing with soft blue light. The door opened slowly when a sensor detected their presence. Inside, the team discovered a control room filled with screens, buttons, and strange machines humming softly. Captain Veriz approached a console. The screen showed the planet's weather, its energy flows, and the traps set for the aliens. This is it, Veriz said, the heart of their defense. Suddenly, An alarm rang out. The room filled with red light. Varys's cum crackled. "Captain, you've triggered their defenses. Prepare for attack." Outside, the Targans had gathered. They did not want to lose their secret. A group of fierce warriors surrounded the ruins. Varys's team prepared to fight, but they were outnumbered. Then, through the mist, a figure appeared, a human. Calm and strong, she held a weapon that glowed with power. "Leave now," she said in a steady voice, "or face defeat." The humans and Targans had formed a secret alliance. They were stronger together. Captain Varys looked around. His mission had failed, but he knew the war was far from over. Back on the Zereth ship, Commander Relek stared at the message from the team. "They have humans helping them," he said quietly. "This changes everything." The Deathworlders were not alone, and the galaxy would soon see the true meaning of their strength. Asterisk. The human factor of the Zereth fleet retreated into the shadows of space, shaken by what they had learned. Commander Relek sat alone in his private quarters, staring at the stars. He could not believe the humans were involved. Humans. They were thought to be quiet and weak, far away from this violent part of the galaxy. But now they stood beside the Deathworlders, sharing their secrets and technology. On the planet below, Jara met with her mysterious ally, the human commander, named Elena. Elena was calm, strong, and wise. She wore a simple uniform, but carried the weight of many battles in her eyes. "We did not choose this fight lightly," Elena said. "The galaxy forgets that humans survive by learning and adapting. We share our knowledge with those who fight for their homes." Jara nodded. "The Targans are fierce, but without your help, we would be crushed." Elena smiled faintly. "Together, we are more than survivors. We are a force." The humans had given the Targans advanced weapons, training, and technology to control the planet's harsh environment. Jara showed Elena the hidden bases and storm control machines. "This planet can be a weapon," she said, "and with your help, we will protect it." Meanwhile, the Zereth scrambled to understand the new threat. They sent spies to watch the humans closely. What they saw worried them. Humans were quiet, calculating, and dangerous. Relek called a meeting with his top officers. "We underestimated our enemy," he said. "They are not just savage natives. They have human technology and minds." One officer spoke up. "Commander, if humans keep helping the Targans, our chances are slim." Relek's face hardened. "Then we must find a way to stop the humans. If we cut off their help, the Deathworlders will fall." But Elena was ready. She had prepared for this. "The humans do not fight alone," she told Jara. "We will stand together, no matter the cost." Back in space, a new battle was forming, not just for Targan, but for the balance of power in the galaxy that the Deathworlders had become more than just survivors. They were warriors with human strength behind them. The Zereth did not know it yet, but this alliance would change the future of the stars. Asterisk. The battle turns the sky above Targan was alive with fire and smoke. The Zereth fleet had returned, larger and more determined than ever. They wanted to end the fight once and for all. Commander Relek stood at the front of the command ship, his eyes cold and focused. "This time we will break their spirit," he said. "No more surprises." But the Targans and their human allies were ready. Jara and Elena stood together on the planet's surface, watching the dark ships fill the sky. "We fight for our home," Jara said. "For our families." Elena nodded. "And with every weapon and trick we have." The battle began with a roar. The Zereth unleashed their biggest weapons, massive energy beams that tore through forests and rocks. But the Targans did not run. They fought back with everything they had. The humans piloted fast ships that dodged the alien fire. They launched small drones that cut through the Zereth's machines like knives through cloth. On the ground, the Targans used guerrilla tactics. They struck quickly from shadows, using the land to their advantage. The alien soldiers were confused and scared. One by one, the Zereth machines fell. The Deathworlders' weapons, powered by human technology, were stronger than anyone expected. In the middle of the battle, the Targans revealed a secret weapon, a giant hidden cannon buried deep in the mountains. It fired a beam of pure energy that struck the alien fleet's command ship. The ship exploded in a flash of light. The alien fleet was thrown into chaos. Commander Relek barely escaped. His voice was shaking. "Fall back! Fall back!" he ordered, but the damage was done. The Zereth were broken. Their power shattered as the sun rose over Targan. The battle was over. The Deathworlders had won. But in the quiet after the storm, Jara and Elena knew this was only the beginning. A new era had started, one where humans and Deathworlders stood together as guardians of their home. And the galaxy would never forget the day when the Deathworlders' response stunned the greatest alien invaders. The aftermath. The battle was over, but the war had changed forever. The Zereth fleet limped away from Targan, their pride shattered. Commander Relek sat quietly in his ship, his mind heavy with defeat. "They fought harder than any enemy we faced," he admitted, "and they had human help." Back on Targan, the planet was calm once more. The storms had passed, and the forests slowly healed from the scars of war. Jara stood on a hill, looking out at the rising sun. Beside her was Elena, the human commander who had become more than an ally, a friend. "We kept our home," Jara said softly. "But the galaxy will not forget what happened here." Elena nodded. "This victory is a warning. Others will come, but they will find us ready." The Targans and humans began to rebuild. They worked together to strengthen their defenses, preparing for whatever threats might come next. News of the battle spread across the stars. Stories of the fierce Deathworlders and their unexpected human allies inspired hope and fear alike. In distant worlds, other species whispered about the power of unity and resilience. The galaxy was changing. An alliance had been forged in the fires of war, stronger than any weapon. But in the quiet corners of space, new shadows stirred. The victory on Targan was just the beginning. The real test was yet to come, and the Deathworlders and humans would face it together.